All right, hey guys, this is Coach Marcus here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Just made it home today at 7:30 in the morning. And I want to welcome you guys to the Monday night GoDesana and Heart by Naturals Testimonials call or Zoom. We do this every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern at one team, one dream hangout.com. And this is very informal. And if you guys are on here and you have a testimonial to share, just hit the raise hand option on Zoom, or you can comment in the chat so we can have you unmute yourself when we get to that point. Thank you, Jessica and Tina. Um, and I want to welcome any guests who are on here, and I appreciate you guys for showing up tonight. If you guys are watching live, if you haven't watched the replay, appreciate you for taking the time to watch this. And once we're done, make sure you get with the person that share this information with you and let them know what you liked about the information and find out how you can become a member. You can either be a customer, which all of us are customers, and you also have the option to participate in the pay plan and earn income for buying, using, and recommending the products. And basically, we do network marketing every day and just don't get paid for it because we're always recommending things we like to people we know. Doctors and hotels. We were just in Nashville, Tennessee for our boot camp, and some people had nice hotels. Some people were disappointed, but the people with the nice hotels, they definitely were talking about how good the food was, or the pool, or either how warm or how cold it was. So, but the hotel chain is not paying any of us any of the money when people take us up and book their hotel, right? And so that's why people do network marketing every single day. We simply show people how to get paid for doing something they already know how to do. And because we are in the internet age, the social media age, many people use their social media accounts to share things. Okay, they're always sharing other people's posts, or they're sharing their favorite food from the favorite restaurant. And you can do a audit of your Facebook timeline or Instagram or TikTok and look and see how many things you've shared. Okay, for people to go and buy or try, but then get paid for that, right? And so that's the company we have. Green Organics is our parent company. They're the company that pays our commissions. They send us a Visa debit card, and you can load your commission to the Visa debit card. If you are in the United States, you can transfer the money to your bank account. And there's two companies under Green Organics. GoDesana, which is the older of the two companies, and GoDesana has household products with the non-toxic laundry detergent and the non-toxic hard surface cleaner. And I don't know who shared the tip about using protector in their dishwasher. We've been doing it and it works great. It's amazing. But we have that. We have the personal care products, and people use these every day because people brush their teeth. So we have tooth powder. People wear deodorant. We have those. And people bathe, wash their skin, and wash their hair. We have hair and body bars, right? And then we have several essential oils, bath bombs. We have a hair serum and a skin serum. And then there's black seed oil. Okay, that's all. Oh, and then there's our cosmetic line. Those are go-go sticks, right? You could breathe better, feel better, right? Those are some amazing essential oil nasal inhalers that work because they're made from real essential oils and not synthetic oils. Okay, so your brain recognizes them and your body responds, and within about 60 seconds you notice the benefits from that particular oil, and there's 10 of them. Okay, and then on the HBN side, it's primarily supplements and superfoods. Okay, there are some personal care products, but I'm drinking Gluco Protect right now. This is meant to be drank as a warm broth, and that's part of our GLP-1 system. So we know there's many people out there who have responded to the commercials and the ads for getting those GLP-1 drugs, Manjaro and Ozempic, things like that have side effects. And our GLP-1 system has zero negative side effects. Okay, it has positive side effects or positive direct effects, right? I don't like the doctors say the medicines have side effects. No, the medicines have direct effects. Your body is responding to that medication that it doesn't want in the body. So that's a direct effect. But our GLP-1 system is one of our top selling bundles. And for those who are looking to reduce weight and activate their GLP-1 hormone, that's the system we recommend people use. And we have other products too. Between two companies, we get paid up to 14 different ways. There's daily pay, there's weekly pay, and there's monthly pay. We also have cash back up to 30%. So that's pretty much a high level overview of how it works. And there is a money back guarantee with both companies. So you don't have to, there's no need to be concerned about buying a product and using your money and losing your money, because if you buy something and either it doesn't work you don't like it, or you have an adverse reaction, like an allergic reaction, simply contact the company within the time frame for the return period, and they will literally refund your money. So there's no risk of losing any money here, right? And we are really focused on customers. We're over 93% between two companies are customers only. So they're buying the products, some buy each month or just as needed, but about 7% of our members are people who are consultants who are earning income for buying, using, and recommending the products. And we're looking for more people who would like to help spread the word about the opportunity and about the products we have here, because we are really into plants over pills. They would like to show people how our bodies respond positively when using plant-based products rather than medication, which I'm not saying there's not a place for medication, but if prescriptions worked so well, why do they have to keep prescribing them each month, right? Just think about that. With our products, we've had people reverse health conditions, kidney damage, diabetes, weight release. People have all kinds of results here. Migraine headaches gone away, and just amazing results. And of course, we're not doctors and we're not governed by the FDA, and we can't say our products diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any disease or health conditions, right? And then as far as the business opportunity or the income opportunity, I work hard. I don't know if you will work hard, so you might join us and not earn any money at all. But we do have a system in place for people that follow it that helps people get in a profit faster, right? We call it the best system, right, guys? So thank you guys for listening to that. And I will go ahead and have Jessica go ahead and unmute, and then Tina has her hand raised after her.
Good evening, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you fine.
Okay. I have two product testimonials first. The first one is, so, yesterday, we went to the zoo and then we ended up walking around Broadway. So my feet, by the time we got done, were in so much pain. So when I got back to my room, I was like, I put on pain magnesium spray on the bottom of my feet. I mean, it hurt so bad, like it was hard to walk. After I put that on, I had no issues. And when I woke up this morning, I had hardly any pain. So I put some more on for the, before the drive home. The second product is, granted, I didn't have a long drive like I've had before, but, due to just the constant go and not the same sleep, at one point in my trip, I was like starting to yawn and like, oh man, okay. I was like, I reached in my bag, I grabbed my Focus Fuel Go-Go stick, took a couple whiffs of that. I was good to go the rest of the trip. And I also used that Friday night at the axe throwing. And not long after I used that, I hit a bullseye. So it's an awesome stick. It helps you, focus in on what you need to do. And then as far as the business aspect, I just want to stress the importance of getting to an in-person event. You learn so much and grow so much, and this community is great at instilling development and leadership training and financial training to help you grow your business and grow as a person. And from each event, I've seen my growth and I've had people tell me about my growth. So I just can't stress it enough. It's good to get on these calls, but it's just something hits different when you're in person with everybody. And to learn from 6 and 7 figure earners and just everybody who's doing the same thing, that's been where you are or wanting to go where you are, it's just a great feeling. Thank you, Coach.
Right, you're welcome. Yes, the pain magnesium spray works great. I need to spray that on my calves because, like you, we were at the zoo yesterday, and I did over almost 13,000 steps at the zoo with all the hills and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when we get finished with this, I'm gonna go spray that on my calves because they are very sore. But
Mm-hmm.
um, and then as far as the focus fuel, that's one of my favorite sticks. I typically use mine when I'm at the gym because it helps me focus on my sets when I'm doing my weights. And I get through my notice since I started using it, I get through my workouts faster. I don't rest as long, and that's a very good go-go sticks. All 10 are all good. I like smell. I just like how they smell. I don't do with migraine headaches, but migraine E smells good. The nausea relief, it just smells good. I like to just smell them. So, but very good products right there, and they are going to, take over the internet as more and more people begin to experience the go-go sticks, and people are going to be curious and want to know how can I just sniff something and it helps me feel better. Right? It's amazing. The craving crusher, that right there is people who have challenges with wanting to snack at night, or if you have challenges with wanting to smoke, so let's say cigarettes, right? And so that helps break those cravings. For me, I bite my nails. So anytime I feel like I want to bite my nails, I'll sniff the craving crusher and I won't bite them. So it's an amazing product. But thank you, Jessica, for sharing that. As far as the events, if you can ever attend at least one a year in person, it's great. And we know our international members, it's a little more challenging for them just because the cost is a little bit more. So as we grow, one of our plans is eventually have an event, outside of the United States where our international members are. I know Canada, we have a few people there. Taiwan is a big team in Taiwan, and then the Caribbean is growing. So, but that's our goal. But like I agree with Jessica, the emotional impact you experience when you attend in person is different than attending a Zoom. Right? Crystal was there, Maren was there, Jessica's there, Anthony and Tina Stone were there. I'm looking at the names. Rasan was there, Lillian and Butch, Myrtle Ross, Gwen McDaniel. Were all there. Lynette, right? Lynette and Derek were both there. So, and Betty, I'm looking at the names who I remember being there. Tanya Sanders even had a chance to show Tanya how to buy her first ETF, right? And so now she's on her way to getting dividends every month, from an exchange traded fund, right? So in person events, you have more of the intimate, moments because you can talk to people during breaks and even outside the event at hotels and dinners. It would just have a lot of fun. So if you guys, the next event is going to be in January, January 11th. So it's going to be on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, right? So that's January 11th, 12th, and 13th is the next event. And Coach Will have more information about that. It was great. Thank you, Betty. It was amazing. It was amazing. I'll do a teaching on that on the Money House. I'll do that. All right, I got Tina. Tina's up next, and then
Hey.
Gwen. I'm sorry, Gina.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to say that I had a ball this event. Um, just seeing everybody again, that was just, and be able to hug and talk to, and the training was awesome. Awesome training. I got so many nuggets just being there and then talking with the ones who have reached different milestones. And that right there was just phenomenal. Well, today, on my way back home to California, when I got to the airport and checked in, and I usually have a wheelchair accessible because I'm bone on bone with my knees, and the walking through the airport can be challenging. So I met a young lady who was also in a wheelchair. And the person that was taking us through the gates and everything, she pushed both of us at the same time. And I'd never seen anything like that before. And when we got there, she was like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "This was crazy, wasn't it?" And I said, "Yes, it was." And so we just started talking, and come to find out that she runs, she's the head supervisor manager in charge of a security company. And she also has this other job that she does that she's getting ready to retire from. And so she was like, "Well, what do you do?" And then that's when I was telling her about what I do. And I said, "Have you ever heard of essential oils?" And she was like, "Yeah, I have a friend that told me about some essential oils and things like that." So then I asked her, "Have she ever tried inhalers?" I said, "We have inhalers." I said, "We're the first company to come out with really natural inhalers that does what it says it's going to do." And so she's like, "Well, I had bought this one inhaler. It's called Breathe." And first thing I was like, "Well, how much did you pay for it?" And she said, "Oh, it's just $9." And at that point, I said, "Well, what effect did it have on you?" And she was like, "Well, it did kind of open me up some." And then I was sharing with her that we also have Craving Crusher. I said, for you get up in the middle of the night, want that midnight snack, or you want to eat something and you don't really don't need it, sweets and things like that. And so she's like, "Yes, I definitely need something like that." So she's like, "Do you have a card?" So I gave her my card, and she gave me her name and her phone number. So we exchanged. And her stop was in San Diego. We had a layover in San Diego. We were on the same flight, layover in San Diego. So um, she told me, she's like, "And what else?" I said, "Well, have you ever heard of black seed oil?" She's like, "I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it." I said, "Well, you've got my number." I said, "Give me a call." I said, "You also can go to my site and you can see all the different inhalers we have." I said, "And they are amazing." And I had my focus, I had my mood, and I had frankincense. And so she was like, "Well, what does the mood do?" I said, "It boosts your mood." I said, "And with you in security and you being a woman and guys don't want to take orders from a woman." She's like, "Yeah, sometimes they give me attitude." I said, "This will help with your mood in dealing with them." And so I'm just really, and her name is Marie. I told her, I said, "Well, once you get your products, let me know what you think about them. And then I would love for you to come on and talk about what the products have done for you." And like I told her, San Diego is not really that far for us to travel. I said, "And we will get together." And I also told her, I said, "Anybody that you know that may be interested in this, please share." I said, "Because this is all we do." And I showed her my diamond ring that I had got from the company. She looked at it and she held it in her hand and she was like, "Ooh, this thing has some weight to it." She's like, "Just from sharing?" And I said, "Well, you have to do some work." I said, "But you are sharing and you get paid to share just by telling folks. You get paid what they order." And so she was just real excited about that. Yep. So That's my testimony.
That's awesome. Thank you, Tina, for sharing that. And that's how simple the business is to share. We don't, most of us don't go out intentionally to recruit people. We simply recruit while we're out. And if you talk to enough people, talk to people, eventually, something's going to come up that's going to either lead to talking about what the products do, or people maybe want to earn some more income, right? And she sounds like she's interested in both, which is great. And so, and I like to let people, when I'm on the airplanes or in public, you listen more, right? Because the people's people always like to talk about themselves more than hearing from you. So if you listen enough, you can do exactly what Tina did, and no script, just a normal conversation that flowed based upon them being in the wheelchair, going to the gate together, and the young lady saying that she bought a nasal inhaler, which is probably not up to like as high quality as ours. And every person that uses ours, they immediately feel additional benefits, right? It doesn't just heighten your awareness. They actually do what they do: boost your mood, help you sleep, stops headaches, stops cravings, whatever you need. Those sticks work for a long time too. So, but thank you, Tina, for sharing that. All right, Gina. I got Gina, Miriam, Gwen, and then Crystal. Okay. All right. Let me get Gina to unmute herself. There you go.
All right, family, how y'all doing? It was indeed a grand time in Nashville. It was just so exciting. The camaraderie, the friendship, the family connection. This family,
Where'd she go? You're muted. Oh, okay, there you go.
I apologize for that, guys, but I got my testimony about our go-go sticks. Um, Most of you has seen me kind of sort of improve for each conference with my breathing conditions, the asthma, the sinus, and the allergic rhinitis. Once upon a time, I couldn't hold a conversation more than 3 to 5 minutes without wheezing, and then graduating to coughing and into the asthma attack. Well, when the go-go sticks came about, we did this grand sneak preview type of advertising. You didn't really know what they were. The coaches really wasn't saying what they were because they hadn't come out yet. But once they became available, I ordered mine immediately. So it took me a couple days to get them in the mail. These go-go sticks have been life-changing for me. And I say that because every morning, even as I was getting better, but every morning, before I could put my feet on the floor, I had to do a breathing treatment. Simply because the mucus had drained so much overnight. It was in my nose, in my throat. It was causing the acid reflux. It was just doing so much. So I really couldn't function until I actually did a breathing treatment. Up all night, most nights. These go-go sticks have really changed my life. I use the sinus and the allergy together, along with the frankincense. And I use frankincense for other purposes, just not just for the allergies and asthma. But every change of season, I'm really bad. So the first couple of days in the new season, I couldn't figure out why I was draining so bad and coughing, acting all crazy. Second day in, it hit me. Oh, snap. It's fall, change of season. So I always do bad, change of season. But in come go-go sticks. Guys, I can hold a conversation. I can sleep at night. I don't have to do the treatment as soon as I wake up anymore. As a matter of fact, I think this whole weekend, I used my inhaler twice, maybe twice. And that's because I still can't laugh a lot. When I laugh a lot, it triggers off a coughing episode, but that's not going to stop me from laughing because God created laughter because it's good for the soul. But at any rate, my go-go sticks for the sinus and allergy is just off the chain. And I also use my magnesium because I have edema in my feet and my feet will swell up. So when I drive, I wear my compression socks but I put my magnesium oil spray on both my feet, and I'm not half as swollen as what I usually be. Sometimes my feet get so big, I have to double open up my tennis shoes to even get them on my feet. So that's all I got to guys. If you guys can make it to Vegas, make it to Vegas. If you just can't make it to Vegas for whatever reason, just get on these teachings, attend each class, and you can still glean and learn from everybody in our family. That's all I got, Coach.
All right, thank you, Gina. Thank you for that Monopoly socks. I sent you a picture this morning at me at the airport wearing the socks. So, and it's great because I think our first time I met Gina in person was in Tennessee, the first Tennessee event. We met there in person, and she's been getting healthier every time I see her at an event. Right? Less and less medications. And now with these go-go sticks, they are amazing. All right, you guys are really going to enjoy them. But thank you for sharing that, Gene. Appreciate that. And then we read Colette from Michigan. She said on her way home yesterday, she met a gentleman. His wife used the oil, so she got some information and gave him her information. Yeah, just having conversations. You're going to meet people and talk to people that use these type of products, which is great. All right, hey Miriam, you should be able to mute yourself. And congratulations on all your awards.
Oh, thank you so much, Coach Marcus. I am so excited about the event we just had. It was just so mind-blowing. The information about what Coach Will shared about the minerals that we're missing, that just opened up so many, like made so many things click. With a loved one that I have that's dealing with Parkinson's. So, and I have all of those ingredients and products that he talked about. So a regimen is already getting underway on that. But what I wanted to share was the buttons that we wear. So on my way, my husband picks me up from the airport, and it's like kind of like a tradition for me to treat him to lunch. Just something, that's just me. I like doing stuff like that. So I said, okay, honey, what do you want to go for lunch? He said, sure. I said, yeah, it's my treat. So we go to this Mediterranean restaurant, and before we go in, I had on all like a lot of stuff because it was cold in the airport. I had like 3 shirts on just because it was just cold. So I said, let me just take this off. And I started to take my button off, but I said, no, I'm proud of my business and I don't care where I am. I'm going to wear my button. So I go in, we get seated and, get our food and everything. And the waitress was really nice. And before she brings our check, she says, you said, I love that perfume you're wearing. And I was like, perfume? I'm not wearing any perfume. And I was like thinking like, what is she talking about? I'm not wearing anything. And I didn't pay any attention. I said, well, the only thing I have on is essential oil, but I put that on at around maybe 2 a.m. in the morning. So how could she smell that? But that's what she smelled, because when I was paying the bill, I had it in my bag, my little travel purse. And I said, is this what you smell? And she said, yeah. And then she said, what's that about? And she was pointing to my button. And I said, well, it's, I have my own health and wellness business. I just got back from a convention and, all this other, stuff. And I said, I really can't talk about it now. We got to go. But I tell you what, here's my card. Take my card. And if you can, give me your information, your phone number, and I'll send, I will, be in touch with you in a couple of days, and we'll talk about it. And I kept rambling on about, yeah, it's essential oils and a lot of other household, everything is all organic. She was like, oh yeah, I like that I could. And I just told her, I said, they're all high quality essential oils products. And she said, yeah, I can tell, because if you put it on like at early in the morning before your flight, and I had forgotten, I was like, and I'm sitting up here like, I don't smell it, but she could smell it. And she was just really, really interested. So that part was just, you don't, as you all teach us, you don't go out to prospect, but you prospect while you're out. And that was not on my mind. My mind was just, enjoying a lunch with my husband, and that just popped up. So be prepared, um, wearing your buttons. Those buttons are magic, especially if you're introverted. And sometimes I can be, and I think we all can be sometimes, just don't want to be, hey, let's relax, you don't want to be like that. But I was just blown away how, she was just really interested. And hopefully it turns out to be something fruitful for her and, for our organization. So that's all I wanted to share.
That's awesome. That's congratulations on the
Thank
new
you.
prospect and like on your award. And then my wife saw your pictures today. She's like, "Wow, Merriman has lost a lot of weight." And so you can tell.
Yeah,
You see the
I
picture.
was looking at that and I was like, because some pictures, you look different in other pictures, but I was just like, wow, I
Yeah,
still have more to go, but I'm happy that I'm able to maintain
yep,
what I've, released, and that I'm able to, be able to get more off. So
yeah.
that
That's awesome.
is just amazing to me. That's amazing to me. So
Yeah. And that's one of the keys to being successful is becoming a product of the products. Because if you have a
mhm.
story to share, it could be whatever story. You create a story using the products or even an income testimonial, right? You will have that to share with people. I know Marion paid off a credit card, right? So it's
Yeah.
just so many benefits, but the buttons are perfect for people who aren't comfortable going up and talking to strangers, right? Like for me, I don't always go up and talk to people. People naturally gravitate want to talk to me. And so they see my
Mhm.
t-shirt or a button, then that'll opens up a conversation like yours. And it's perfect for introverts, right? And it's great for identifying the right person at the right time in their life. That's all it is. And so the lady at the restaurant, she saw your butt. Well, she smelled the oil first. So that kind of gave it validation, like, wow,
Mhm.
she has some good stuff. And then the button just kind of like opened her up to be open, wanting to learn, well, how can I get paid? So
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
And I
So
know for me,
I'm looking forward to a conversation with her.
it's gonna be good. Yeah. And I know for me, when I wear the Rose and Vetiver deodorant and I'm out,
Mhm.
and mainly when women, they'll stop me and to tell me whatever I'm wearing smells good, and it's just a
Mhm.
deodorant stick. So it's good stuff. But thank you, Marion, for sharing that.
You're welcome.
All right, let me get Gwen. Is this Gwen McDaniel? You go ahead on
Oh,
mute. Is it Gwen Creighton?
right.
Okay, got you.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm trying to get on. Hey, everybody. I had a wonderful time with everybody. It was great seeing everybody. Man, I learned so much, and I am going to apply a lot of this stuff, and I'm challenging myself. I love these events. I'm going to go to the one in Vegas. I'm going to buy my ticket real soon, like Coach Seymour did. But what I wanted to share, I'm not going to put it all out there because I did write it on my Facebook page, what was happening with me from morning to when I got to the airport. But what the main thing I wanted to share was there was I posted two sisters on my Facebook page earlier this morning talking about how these ladies had helped me because one of the workers were being really nasty. He was being really nasty with me, and it was getting upsetting. When I didn't put it in a post, but I had to take some calm because some other stuff was getting ready to come out of me from him making me upset. But anyway, so the ladies, they started helping me because he was telling me I needed to check in my stuff because I had too many bags. And moving forward, I let my bag go in as a check-in, and the lady said, well, let me help you, and they started helping me get my bags together and putting them in order. And I thanked them, and I asked them, I said, can I take a picture of you? I said, because I just want to, I said, post it on my Facebook page to say that there's still some really nice people out here in the world that will help you like that. And they said, sure. So they struck a pose for me and let me take the picture for them. So then as we started boarding on the plane, they actually sat in front of me, across from me, one seat up across from me. So when the plane started moving, I started noticing one of the sisters, she had this blanket and she started holding the blanket really, really tight. And then her legs started shaking. And I was just looking at her and I was like, wow, she must be really frightened to be on this plane. This is frightening her. And I'm looking at her, and even the airline person came up to her and said to her, ma'am, are you all right? I'm not sure what she said to the lady, but the lady just walked away. So once the plane was, set up where we could just get up and walk around, I walked over there to her and I asked her, does flying make you nervous? And she said, it makes me very nervous, but I had already got my calm because I had brought calm with me. So I brought the calm out and I gave it to her. And I was telling her, I said, this will help you. And the introvert side of me kicked in again. And I just gave it to her and kind of like walked away and said, but I had my drop card and I gave her the drop card. Now, here's the thing. I told her that it had a QR code on it, but it didn't. So the calm. So I said, okay. So then I said, well, here's my drop card. I said, and we can talk more about it. And I sat back down and I beat myself up all the way to 2 hours riding. I said, I didn't tell that lady how to use it. But then when we were landing, I was looking at her and I was saying, I wonder, did she use it? She could have just sniffed it, But I noticed when we were landing, like she wasn't shaking real, like she was. Her legs shook a little bit, but I noticed she was like sitting back and throwing her head back a little bit. I was like, oh, she looks like she might be okay. I said, then I'm thinking, well, maybe she has a problem when she's flying up, and then when she's landing, she's okay. So, but when we got out the airport, when I got off the plane, she said, she was standing there waiting for me and she had the calm. And she said, here, she said, thank you. And I told her, I said, no, that's for you. You can have that. I said, that's for you. And she said, really? She said, I love essential oils. I said, well, it just so happens I am in the business with essential oils of keeping people healthy like that. So she said, really? I said, yeah. I said, you have a Facebook page? She said, yeah. I said, what I'll do is I'll send you the PIP code to the PIP to show you how you can use the product. So she said, great. So her sister came up to me and said, she used the product on a plane and it really helped her. Man, that made my heart melt just to know how amazing our products really are, because she was shaking like crazy on that plane. It was really alarming just watching her. I couldn't wait till we got to the level where I could get up and say something to her. So I have a Facebook friend now. And the good thing is she lives in San Antonio where I am. So now I can build rapport with more people here now. So, and that's all I have, Coach.
All right, that's all. I read your post, so that's a great post. And so I would have been mad too if the driver left me with my luggage too. So
Yeah,
I
I was pissed, but you know what, Coach? They actually, the front desk called them back, and I'm
okay.
gonna say, where's Seymour at? Seymour on here?
Yes, he's here. Yeah.
That was the same lady that gave that Seymour was having some issues with.
Yeah.
So I think she remembered, because she remembered me saying that I knew who Seymour was, and I said, I'm gonna give this place a bad review, and I told her that. And
Yeah.
she must have called that shuttle driver back, because he came back and picked me up. He said, I believe I forgot you, ma'am.
That's awesome. But as far as I mean, there are some nice people out there. And so I think what you went through there was a reason why you were connected with those two little ladies, right? If
Yeah.
none of that wouldn't have happened, it's just things happen. As far as the product, Calm is amazing. And all the products are formulated for impact, right? They're created to get results, right? Not just to make money, right? We wouldn't make any money if the products didn't work, right? And so we're now on trial, and there's so many essential oils, that we have. They are amazing. I only thought essential oils were years ago, before I learned about essential oils, I thought you simply put them in a diffuser and made the room smell good. I didn't know they had medicinal benefits like calming people and like you did with the lady in Texas. And so now you have a new friend, and someone who hopefully, she'll be impressed by all the products and will join us. So it's gonna be great. But thanks for sharing that, Gwen. Appreciate that. All right, Crystal, you should be able to unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, how are y'all doing? I enjoyed seeing y'all in Nashville. I did have a wonderful time and made great memories. So today in Georgia, I was in Statesboro at Publix, and there was a guy out on the outdoor seating area because I came out there to do some work, and I overheard him talking to his daughter on the phone, and she had health issues. He had health issues. So once he got off the phone, I said to him, "Have you ever heard of black seed oil?" And he said, "Are you a nurse?" I said, "I'm a CNA." So then he walked over to the table to me and he said, "Tell me about it." So I said, "I heard that your daughter had problems with her health, with heart problems, and you had problems with weight loss, with wanting to lose some more weight." And I said, "This black seed oil has done wonders for my body." So then I told him I could send him the PIP page, the product information page. And so I gave him the information. And then he said, "Well, I want to order now." And I said, "Wonderful." So he placed an order on the spot because of me being nosy, and hearing his conversation. He was very intrigued. So I got a customer on the spot, by listening to another conversation.
That's all that just shows you cared, because a lot of people would hear a conversation like that and wouldn't care enough to interject and share any information. That just shows you being a nurse. Nurses typically are people who care, they want to serve. And so that's just, where your heart is. And thankfully we have products people can use that help with different ailments people are dealing with, right? And that's just black sugar. Wait until they find out about the other products we have,
I
mind,
agree.
mind body, and soul, and fulvic acid, all those other products. So good, congratulations. And that's how simple it is. The business is simple. Like no one who interacted with any customers today went out and intentionally wanted to recruit anybody. It was simply either having conversations or overhearing conversation and asking a few questions and being able to solve people's problems, right? And we know more and more people are struggling with their health, and more people don't want to don't want to, there's a place for doctors, but more and more people don't want to use medication just because of the direct effects from using medications. And then most people would like more money, and we simply show people how they can do that. But good job, Crystal. It was awesome seeing you. And you were on the panel. You were interviewed. So that was some good responses with those surprise questions from Coach Will. So no one knows what questions he's going to ask when he does that. So that's always fun. So, but thanks for sharing that. All right. Anyone else have anything they'd like to share? It's 5:43, so we're right on doing good on time. If not, we good. All right. All right, folks. Well, I appreciate you guys hopping on here and sharing your testimonials, and also people who are watching live or watching replay. Thank you for taking the time to watch this and get back with the person that shared this information with you. If you're not yet a customer or a member, tell them what you liked about the information, and then find out how you can create your account. You can sign up for free. I joined for free 6.5 years ago, as did all of us. Okay, and so you have the ability to create a free account. You can take a look under the hood, and then you can place your order. Or you can do like Crystal's new customer did, right? They placed her order right away, right? So thank you guys for being here, and I will see you guys on Thursday night. We have Detox Divas with Coach Tina, and then we have the business overview at after that. So 5 p.m. Pacific, Detox Divas, and 6 p.m. Pacific is the overview talking about the business opportunity. So appreciate you guys for being here. You guys have an amazing night, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Bye.